Good day, everyone. So, welcome to our subject Foundations of Special and Inclusive Education. So, for today, I will just discuss to you the content of the syllabus, the orientation with regards to the terms and conditions on how to, for example, and how to pass the subject and what are my teaching strategies and etc. So, I want you to finish the whole video so that you are familiar with those. So, welcome to my old and new students. So maybe some of you are my former students and some of you are new. So let us now proceed to introducing myself. So I am Miss Regine F. Renedo. I am a registered psychometrician and a licensed professional teacher. So my undergraduate as Bachelor of Arts, major in psychology. I already finished my master's degree in public administration, and currently I am pursuing my master's degree in guidance and counseling. So I am currently the guidance counselor of Grace Mission College. So I will be your teacher for the whole semester. So the overview of this lesson for this semester. So the subject matter discusses the theoretical, historical, legal, and sociological foundations that provide the framework for a clear understanding of inclusive and special educations. So I will provide you the extensive discussions on inclusion and diversity and strength-based approach to instruction that encompass learners with additional needs, so for example, disability and persons in other marginalized groups, for example, is the child laborers, the abused children, and etc. So this is for the students to have a solid appreciation and understanding of the foundations of inclusive and special education. So we believe that by this subject, um, this will help you and to have knowledge about the practical resource for practicing teachers in various settings, such as the general education classrooms, the special education settings, and inclusive classrooms. So, as well as for administrators and school owners who are interested in embracing and implementing inclusion in their respective schools. So for the overview of this subject, it consists of 7 chapters and each chapter packed with the following features. So we have to define the subject matter and the lesson proper, the review and the reflect, and also the practice. So for the chapter 1, the topic for the chapter 1 is we have the understanding diversity. So under this is the definition, the Lowden's diversity will, the diversity will, and the ability and disability as dimension of diversity, and the dilemma of diversity. So as you can see, it provides a discussion on diversity anchoring to the Lowden's diversity will. For the chapter 2, we have the addressing diversity through the years, special and inclusive education. So as you can see here, it discusses the history of inclusion and special education as well as the different models of disability. For the chapter 3, we have the making schools inclusive, a unifying framework. So it uses the principles from the previous chapters to provide a framework on how to make schools inclusive based on Booth and Einstein's index for inclusion. For chapter 4, we have the components of a special and inclusive education. In here, it presents the different components of inclusive and special education from education to supports for learners. So after chapter 4, we will be having our midterm examinations. So after the midterm is the chapter 5. So the typical and atypical development among children. So in here, it differentiates typical and atypical development. Knowledge that is essential to understand how learners with additional needs are identified and supported. For chapter 6, we have learners with additional needs. So in here, it provides information on learners with additional needs, focusing on how they are identified, their learning characteristics, and evidence-based teaching strategies anchored on universal design for learning and a strength-based approach. So for Chapter 7, we have the learners and other marginalized groups. So in here, it provides a rich discussion on marginalization in education. So using Meishu's framework that focuses on the collaborative activity between young people and adults and focus on the plight of learners in other marginalized groups. So each chapter ends with the questions for discussion as well as activities and review, reflect, and practice to provide you with the opportunity to think about what have you read, relate them to your own experiences, and analyze, discuss them with your colleagues or with your co-students or peers. And also, case studies are also provided to give you context in the form of realistic scenarios by which you can apply what you have learned. So after the chapter 7, we will have the final examination. So that's all for the content of the syllabus. So again, chapter 1 until chapter 4 would be the content of your midterm examination, and for your finals will be the chapter 5 until chapter 7. So the first question is, what is the mode of learning? So we will use the online platform. So as you can see here, the quiz, attendance, performance, the midterm, and the final step examinations will be evaluated and monitored through using online platforms. So we will use Google Forms for your quiz, the messenger in our official group chat for the proper communication, and the YouTube for the recorded discussion. So I will be recording all the discussion and I will send you the link and I will give you the time to watch and to study the lesson proper, and then I will announce also when will be the quiz. So always remember that after the discussion there is always a quiz. So if you have problem or any suggestions aside from online platforms, you can drop it in our official GC. So you can tell it to me na I am not available using online platforms, and then we will discuss it in our official group chat. The next question is, what will you do as a student? So number one is you will religiously attend the online class in order to pass the subject. So meaning, once I send the link of the recorded video and I will give you time to watch and study it, please do so. The next one is the schedule of an online class will be consumed of 1 hour, 30 minutes discussion, and 30 minutes quiz. So this is my old orientation to my previous students. So um I please disregard the second one because most of the discussion consumed mostly the 1 hour discussion. So after I send the link of the recorded discussion, I schedule the quiz the next day or the next day, and etc. Next is study and pass the exams and quizzes. So since I use the online platforms, so there will be no performance. There will be no performance. There is no physical class. So your grades will be coming from the exams and the quizzes I provided. Next is if you have sickness or illness that prohibits you to use the online platform, you have to coordinate with your teacher. So just like what I've said earlier, if you're not available using the online platforms, please drop it in our official GC. Next is the grading system. So 50% for midterm and 50% for finals. So the 25% of the 50% will be coming from your quizzes, and 25% will be coming from your midterm examination. Same as for finals, 25% for quizzes and 25% for, this is final examination. Next is, these are my rules. So number one is follow my instructions intently. So I will give you instructions in every task and in every quiz I give. Next is attend the class regularly. After the discussion, there is always a quiz. So always remember that once I send to you the link, there is always a quiz afterwards. The midterm and the final examination consist of 100 items, multiple questions. So I don't want you to I want you to be prepared, because I always make an examination consist of 100 items. Next, I am very strict with the schedules and deadlines. So once I send you activities, or once I send you tasks and I give you deadline, please submit it on or before the deadline. Or much worse, I will not accept anymore your task if you will not meet the deadline. So all communications will be communicated only using our official messenger group chat and no personal message. So I will not accommodate any personal message. If you have any questions, if you have any problems with regarding to our topic, please communicate it in our official group chat. I do not accommodate personal messages. Next question is, what happened if you didn't get quiz, midterm, or final examination on the said schedule? So when quiz, you have to wait for the announcement of your teacher if she will give you the chance to take the quiz. So I rarely give a second chance when it comes to quiz. So again, I want you to bear in your mind that when I send or when I schedule your quiz, please attend to that quiz. When midterm and final examination, you have to wait for the announcement of the special exam schedule. So when midterm and finals, I give you a second chance to take the special exam schedule. So when quiz, it depends. So you have to wait for my announcement whether I give you or not give you the quiz. So that's all for my terms and conditions, and that's all for the content of the subject. So I hope you understand and follow the rules so that we have the harmoniously relationship throughout the semester. So if you have any questions, if you have any problems with regards to the orientation, don't hesitate and don't be shy to drop in our official GC so that we can agree to whatever your conditions are. So thank you very much for listening and welcome to our subject. Happy oral, everyone.